Hello students, I am Kinjal Parmar. Welcome back to the video lecture series of Digital Fundamental. Today we will discuss design of asynchronous modulus counter. Okay, so let's start with the definition of this asynchronous counter and modulus counter. Here we have this asynchronous modulus counter. This asynchronous counter is basically a counter in which we have a group of flip-flops. Okay, and this group of flip-flops do not have same clock signal and it is used to counting the pulses. Okay, so this asynchronous counter is basically a group of flip-flops in which all flip-flops do not have same clock signal. Now this asynchronous counter will count this pulses. Okay, so this pulses or says number of count it will count is known as its modulus. Okay, if this flip-flops can count a total 16 values, so it has a modulus 16. If it will count 4 values, so it has a modulus 4. Okay, so basically we have this state, number of state, and total number of state of any counter is known as modulus. And now a counter which goes through all the possible state of the flip-flops is known as full modulus counter. Okay, that means if we have 3 flip-flops, so this 3 flip-flops can count total 2 raised to 3, that means 8 possible values. Okay, if 3 flip-flops can count total 8 possible combinations, and if it will count 8 combinations before restarting, okay, so it will known as full modulus counter. So next we have a variable modulus counter. Now this counter is basically a group of flip-flops in which all flip-flops do not goes with all the possible state of the flip-flops before restarting it. For example, if we design a counter with 3 flip-flops, okay, so it will count most probably the total 8 possible combination, that is 2 raised to 3, 8 possible combinations. But before restarting, if some flip-flops count either 6 state, okay, or it count either 6 states only, so basically this known as a mode 7, or if it count total 6 states, so it will known as mode 6 counter. And this counter is basically a variable modulus counter because 3 flip-flops does not goes through all the possible state. Okay, it count only up to 6 states and then it will restart with the 0. Okay, so this is known as variable modulus counter. So let's discuss one by one designing of this modulus counter. So here first we have a asynchronous full modulus counter. So let's discuss this with this example. Here we have a example that design mode 8 counter. Okay, here we have to design mode 8 asynchronous counter. So modulus counter designing, and here we have a mode 8, that means it will count total 8 values starting from 0 to 7, and to count total 8 values we have to use that 8 is equals to 2 raised to 3, so we have to use 3 flip-flops. Okay, so to design this mode 8 counter we have to use 3 flip-flops. If we have a 16 values, so for 16 value we have a 2 raised to 4, so we have to use 4 flip-flops. Okay, so here we have to use 3 flip-flops and it will count like this. Okay, so here we have this table. Okay, so here we have a 3 flip-flops which is Q3, Q2, Q1, and it will count like this 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 and up to 1, 1, 1, and then it will restart, and then we have a initial value that is 0, 0, 0. Okay, so this is mode 8 counter. The mode 8 counter will goes all the possible state of 3 flip-flops. Okay, this 3 flip-flops has total 8 values starting from 0 to 7. So all 3 flip-flops can goes through all the possible state. So this is our full modulus counter. Okay, so here how we can design this. So we know that in a asynchronous counter, whenever we want to count like 0, 1, 2, 3, So we can use either negative age trigger flip-flop with clock Q1, or we can use positive age trigger flip-flop with Q dash. Okay, so using this logic we can construct this mode 8 counter. So here we have this basic logical diagram of this full modulus 8 counter. Okay, so here we have 3 flip-flops. All the inputs of these 3 flip-flops are 1, because in a asynchronous counter we use flip-flops in a toggle mode. Okay, we use flip-flops in a toggle mode. So all the input, that is J1 K1, J2 K2, J3 K3 is equals to 1. Okay, so all the flip-flops are in a toggle mode. Now here we apply this first flip-flop with external clock signal. Now whenever we want to count, here we use this negative age trigger flip-flop. So whenever we want to count in upward directions like 0, 1, 2, 3, so we connect this negative age trigger flip-flop. So we have a Q as a clock. So here this Q1 is connected as a clock for a second flip-flop. This Q2 is connected as a clock for a third flip-flop. Okay, so here we have a basic asynchronous up counter for 3 flip-flops. Okay, for 3 bits. So using this 3 flip-flops we can calculate total 8 values. Okay, so how it will work? So here we have a waveform characteristics for this asynchronous mode 8 counter. Initially we have a clock, so first flip-flop will work with this clock, and for this clock we have to mention negative age trigger flip-flop, because in logical diagram we use negative age trigger flip-flop. So here we have a negative age trigger flip-flop and through its reference line. Okay, so let's calculate one by one Q1, Q2, Q3. So first we have a Q1. So initially this Q1 is equals to 0. Now whenever negative age arrive, it will toggle its value because our inputs are 1. Okay, in a asynchronous up counter we have a flip-flops with toggle mode only. So whenever negative age arrive, our output will be toggle. That means our output will be complemented, right? So here we have a 0. So negative age arrived, so our output will be 1, and it will continue up to next negative age. Now again we have a here negative age, so our output will be toggled. So here we have a this 0, and then here we have a 1. So here our output will be toggled over here for Q1 dash. Okay, whenever negative age arrived, our output will toggle, and if there is a no negative age, so our previous value will be continued up to next negative age. Okay, so here we have a this 0, then here we have a 1, then here we have a 0, here we have a 1, so here we have a 0. So this is how this Q1 can work. Okay, now for second flip-flop, if we want to count Q2, so for this Q2 first flip-flop, that is Q1 is basically clock for a second flip-flop. So for calculating Q2 we have to mention a negative age of Q1. Okay, because this second flip-flop is also negative age trigger flip-flop, but it works only for Q1. Okay, because we connect Q1 as a clock for a second flip-flop. So whenever negative age of Q1 arrive, this Q2 will be toggled. So initially we have a 0. Whenever the negative age of Q1 arrive, our output will be toggled because our input are 1 1, right? So here our output will be toggled. So here we have a 1 1. Now whenever this negative age arrive, our output will be toggled. So here we have a 0, and it will continue up to next negative age. Here also negative age, input are fixed, 1 1, so toggle mode. So here we have a 1, and then here we have a 0. So this is Q2. Okay, now for Q3, this Q2 is a clock for Q3, right? So here to calculate Q3 we have to mention negative age of Q2. Okay, we have to mention negative age of Q2 because this third flip-flop is also negative age trigger flip-flop, but here we have a Q2 as a clock for a third flip-flop. Okay, so initially when no negative age of Q2 we have a 0, then here negative age of Q2 arrived, so our output will be toggled. So here we have a 1, okay, and it will continue up to next negative age of Q2. Okay, up to next negative age of Q2. Now whenever this negative age of Q2 arrived, this output will be complemented over here. Okay, so this is how this Q3 will be counted. Okay, now we measure our output from Q3, Q2, Q1. Okay, so here we have a Q3, Q2, Q1. Now here first we have a 0 0 0, so basically here we have a 0 0 0, that is 0. Then here we have a this 0 0 1, okay, so basically this is 1. Then here we have a 0 1 0, that is 2. Then here we have a 0 1 1, that is 3. And here we have a 0 0. Then here we have a 1 0 0, that is 4. Then here we have a 1 0 1, that is 5. Then here we have a 1 1 0, that is 6. And here we have a 1 1 1, that is 7. And after 7 it will be again restarted with 0 0 0, that means 0. So here we have a total unique states are 0 to 7, right? So this is our full modulus counter, because 3 flip-flops goes through all the possible state, okay, that means here we have a total 8 combinations. So here we have a this mode 8 counter. So this is how it will produce our output for this modulus counter, okay. Now let's discuss about variable modulus counter. So here we have a next asynchronous variable modulus counter, okay. So here we have an example, that is design mode 6 asynchronous counter, okay. Now for mode 6, if we use 2 flip-flops, so we can calculate 4 values, and if we use this 3 flip-flops, so we can calculate total 8 values, okay. But here we want to calculate 6 values only. So how we can design counter? So to calculate total 6 value, we have to use 3 flip-flop, because maximum number of this counting values are nearest to this 3 flip-flops, okay. Because using 2 flip-flops we can only count 4 values, and using 3 flip-flops we can count total 8 value. So here we have to calculate 8 values, but before 6 value, that means whenever it goes through this 6th state, we have to reset it, okay. This 6th state, that means 0 1 2 3 4 5, okay. Our counter must goes through up to 5 whenever we have a this 6th value, that is 1 1 0. So our counter must be restarted, okay. Our counter must be restarted. Hence here this all 3 flip-flops cannot goes through all the possible state of this 3 flip-flop. That's why it is known as variable modulus counter. Now how we can design this variable modulus counter? Here we have a mode 6 counter. So for mode 6, that means we have to calculate just 6 value, and then we have to restart our counter. So for restarting our counter, here in flip-flops we have a CLR pin, okay. This CLR bar is a pin which is active low pin, okay. So it will clear the value of flip-flops whenever it has a low input, okay. So using this concept we can design this variable modulus counter. Here we have a mode 6 counter. So here we have this table, okay. So it will count, here we have to use 3 flip-flop, Q3, Q2, Q1. So basically it will count like this: 0 0 0 0 0 1, then 0 1 0, then 0 1 1, then 1 0 0, then 1 0 1, okay. Total 6 values. So here we have to end our sequence, and then our flip-flops must be cleared, and it will, our counter will start from 0. But here using 3 flip-flops, this 3 flip-flops always goes through all the possible state. So here after 1 0 1 we have a this state, that is 1 1 0, okay. Here we have a 1 1 0 state, but our flip-flops must be restarted over here. So here we have a this reset values. So for this 0 1 2 3 4 5 we have a 1 1 1 over here, because this CLR is active low, okay. So it will work only for 0. So whenever we have a 1, we have a values in a flip-flops, and whenever we have a 0, so our value will be restarted. So whenever this 7th value, that is 1 1 0 occurred in a flip-flop, so we have to restart our flip-flops. So here reset is equals to 0, and as soon as this 0 is applied to our flip-flops, all the values in a flip-flops, all the stored value in a flip-flops will be cleared, and it will start with 0 0, okay. And whenever we have a 0 0 0, then it will count with 0 0 1 0 1 0, okay. So here whenever we have a this 110 occurred. Whenever we have this 110 occurred, we have to clear our flip flop, and to clear our flip flop, so we have this conditions for clearing, that is whenever this Q3 and Q2 both are equal to 1. Okay, whenever this Q3 and Q2 both are equal to 1, we have to clear our flip flops. Here whenever we have a Q3 and Q2, so it will clear its value, and here we have a 0 0 0. Okay, so using this logic we have to just reset our circuit, and to reset we have to check for the conditions. Now here we have a mode 6 counter, so for 6 that means we have a 110. Okay, for 6 we have a 110. So here we have a equation for reset, that is Q3 into Q2. Okay, now for example if we have a mode 9 counter, okay, so 9 that means 1001. For mode 9 counter we have to use 4 flip flops. Okay, so here we have a Q4, Q3, Q2, Q1. So this Q4 and Q1 is equals to 1, or we can consider total conditions like 110. So here we have this Q3, Q2, Q1 dash. So whenever we have a Q3, Q2, Q1 dash, we have to reset our flip flops. Okay, for mode 9 counter we can consider like Q4, Q3 dash, Q2 dash, Q1. So our flip flops must be cleared for these conditions. So we have a mode 6 counter. Okay, so here we have a variable modulus counter, that means it will not count total values. Okay, it will count only our requirements value. Okay, so here we have this only 6 value, that is from 0 to 5. Whenever this 6 arrived, we have to reset that at that stage. Okay, so here we have this mode 6 counter. So how we can design this? So here we have this mode 6 asynchronous counter. So to count the values in upward directions like 0, 1, 2, 3, we use negative edge trigger flip flops. Okay, so here we have a first flip flop which has a negative edge trigger external clock signal, then the second flip flop has Q1, this third flip flop has Q2 negative edge trigger flip flops. Now here we have this one pin, that is CLR bar. Okay, this CLR bar indicates flip flops can clear over here with active low input. Okay, with active low input. So whenever this Q3, Q2 is equals to 1, so here we invert this 0, so and it will apply over here in a CLR. So whenever we have this Q3 and Q2 both are equal to 1, so here in a NAND gate we have a 0, so this 0 is applied over here and this CLR is equals to 1. Now whenever we have another conditions like for Q3 is equals to 0, this equals to 1, so for any of the combinations we have a output 1 and this CLR is equals to 1, so it will not reset our flip flop, but only for the conditions whenever we have a Q3, Q2 is equals to 1. So here whenever Q3, Q2 is equals to 1, here we have a 0 and CLR is equals to 0. So whenever this CLR is activated with active low input, so our stored value in a flip flop is cleared and we have a 0 0 0 state. Okay, so here this waveform characteristic for mode 6 counter, how it will count. So here we have this clock signal Q1, Q2, Q3 and R. Okay, so remember whenever we have this Q3, Q2 is any of the value, this R is 1. Okay, but whenever we have this Q3 and Q2 is equals to 1, when both the value Q2, Q3 is equals to 1, then this R will be 0. Okay, for a small durations this R will be 0, and whenever this R will be 0, our stored value will be cleared. Okay, our stored value will be cleared and we have here this cleared values. Okay, and here we have a 1 1 0 and it will be replaced with 0 0 because all the values are clear. Okay, so for small durations we have a 1 1 1 over here, but whenever we have this R is equals to 0, so all the stored value in flip flops are reset and we have a 0 0 0. Okay, and then with 0 0 it will count next in a 0 0 1 manner, then 0 1 0. Okay, so it will count like this. Okay, so whenever we have a Q3, Q2 is equals to 1, so we have this sixth value, that is 110. Okay, so we have to count just only 0 to 5, that means only 6 value, but whenever we have a 6 value, that is our 7th value, whenever we have a 6, that is 1 1 0. Okay, so for 1 1 0 our flip flops must be reset. So here we have a Q3 Q2 is equals to 1. Whenever we have a Q3 Q2 is equals to 1, this R is equals to 0. Whenever this R is equals to 0, our flip flops inputs are cleared, that is 0 0 0. So here we have in a 6th stage we have a 0 0 0. So it will count only 5 value starting from 0 to 5, and then again our flip flops will be reset. Okay, so this is how we can design variable modulus counter. Okay, in a asynchronous full modulus counter we have to just apply use 3 flip flops and just apply inputs and external clock signals, and then previous output as a clock for a next flip flops. But whenever we have a variable modulus counter, so we have to find equations for this clear. Okay, then we reset the flip flops and then we design this variable modulus counter. So this is our asynchronous modulus counter. Thank you.